Yo, what's up, demons and demonettes? Tis I, Atraxi, a demon queen, and today we're gonna talk about the latest hero, AFKJourney, and that is going to be Athalia. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. Now we are on the Pioneer, where we do have early access to the hero. So this is not going to necessarily be the final version of anything that we're going to see, and we may encounter some bugs along the way, but we're gonna kind of look over her kit a little bit, and then I'm gonna go over some initial testing and thoughts and impressions. All right, so let's look at her ult, Unbroken Retribution. Alright, passive. When Athalia is defeated, her unyielding resolve manifests as a lance that continues to attack the enemies on the battlefield with her attack reduced by 50%. Active Athalia leaps into the air and strikes the enemy with the highest cumulative damage dealt, dealing damage with the true damage plus extra 2 damage of the enemy total HP lost she has recorded. Not entirely sure what this means. It could be either the total cumulative damage for the team, or the total cumulative damage that she has dealt, right? It's one of those things, again, that is a little ambiguous in its description. The extra damage cannot exceed 1500% of attack. Enemies hit or knocked down for half a second, and she's invincible while casting this skill. Leveling up just increases the damage. Vengeance charge, 9-second cooldown. Athalia targets the enemy with the highest cumulative damage dealt and dashes to behind them. The dash deals damage, and the target and anything in their path if she's invincible. It's similar to Lenya's ability, where she targets the highest damage dealer. Athalia transforms into a lance, striking adjacent enemies 6 times, dealing damage. While casting this skill, she's unaffected. Reduces damage taken by 60% and recovers HP. Hero Focus, this just increases her crit. Divine Verdict, the big thing here is while casting a Vengeance charge, Athalia increases her execute by 50. Whenever she assists or defeats an enemy or uses her ultimate, the cooldown of Vengeance charge is reset immediately. And then her Enhanced Force, Vengeance charge, and Sacred Slash can reduce the target's shield value by up to 800%. So that would be good against mobs like Cryonaya, but I think she's a little too squishy to go into Cryonaya's ult and survive. But let's take a look. We're gonna check her out in a Dream Realm, where I did some initial testing here, and as you can see, I ran her in the current meta. So I substituted her for Harak. We did less. I substituted her for Smokey, and while we did more than we did without Harak, we still did less versus the current meta. So we'll just take a look here to see her damage comparatively to someone else's that is a primary boss killer. So as you can see, she's not going to be meta on Orson for the most part, unless it's, again, something changes. I know she does true damage. It's just that with true damage, we're not going to see that much come out of it, because percentage damage is king in a Dream Realm, right? So it's going to be very, very difficult to top someone like Harak there. So we can then take a look at Supreme Arena. We've been climbing the ranks. I've been using her in my... Great, somebody knocked me off. What a jerk. There's a bunch of bots. Why you gotta hit me? Anywho, let's see. So we substituted in Harak, and we had about the same effect, right? So we beat the bots. Same one. Let me click on a different one. Why is this being weird? Wait, so it's not showing me the records at all where I actually used Athalia. It's just showing me my okay, so here we go. So here we have the initial rocker where she does less damage than Cryonaya. But then, as we can see, like, going up Eventually, she does deal more damage to Cryo, but just running her versus Harak seemed like the better of the two. Alright, we can't test her in regular arena. It's not working. So we did test her in friendly duel. So we have a lot of data here. So we have some very mixed results, as you can see. So I stuck her in with 2 different squads. We'll scroll down here. So initially, I put her in with my Greedborn team, where I substituted in for Harak. So while she does do some decent initial damage, I still don't think she's the best option, but we can check out this in action. Well, let's slow it down as well. So you see, mine doesn't die. You can see there's just her lands. The other one died, but just went away too quick. Maybe if we look at here, oh, we can see it more in. Oh, that's a 4-man squad. Oh wait, we got beat by a 4-man squad. That's embarrassing. But let's check it out and see how it goes. Again, Ludovic, nice counter to Siren. It's very difficult to see, but you can... Somewhere she was a lance. So she turns into the lance. The lance, as you can see, there's the lance. The lance has its own HP bar. It essentially becomes its own mob. And it can benefit from the additional stats. So let me see if it was here. So we can see maybe more here. So let's check this out. So in a way, she does see there she is as just the lance, and you can see the lance benefiting from the concealed state, and the lance has the health bar, and still kind of like does everything that she does. So you just essentially have a reduced hero, right? So she kind of works well with Tassie and Taylene, because you can see she's still kind of doing things after the fight, which is kind of nice. But again, I don't really see that as being all that devastating. Yeah, I don't see her doing anything that other heroes that we already have can't already do. So while she is a nice hero on her own, I just see her getting lost in the mix. As of now, my initial impression is she's not a must-pull hero. She is easily skippable in a season where we have 3 Celestial Hypogeans. Now, it is worth saying that this is just initial testing. We could eventually come up with a comp that's better. Now, if you want to see her, I did do some attacks, so we could do, check that out. But, like, so here, if I can ever find them, I guess everybody here. So I attacked Pokefish. I used the same squad, so we used Athalia, and we used Harak in the other one, so we got the win both ways. So I didn't really see her as doing too much different here. So she just does a little bit more damage here, and I think the fight just goes a little bit faster. So you can see her in the back here. And so she does get stunned, but she doesn't die. I thought she was going to die there. She looked to be a little squishy. But again, she is a melee character. She is a rogue. So that's 79 seconds.
Let's savor this.
So she didn't really get to do much. Again, it's really Cryonaya that's still kind of like the hyper carry here. And then if we compare it to when we ran it with Harak, just so you guys can see her on attack. So Harak kind of gets stunned and does the same. So this time the fight goes a little bit longer, as you can see, but we still end up getting the win, right? So it didn't really change, I think, too much for us overall. You know, if you can't defend on Arena, you can't defend on Arena. If you can't defend on Suprema Arena, she's not really going to change much for you there. So yeah, initial impressions, gonna be a skip. Definitely can pass on this. Unless something changes, I may just skip on this one on my main. Again, we're gonna have to see how she does on additional bosses in Dream Realm, because I cannot say that Orson is definitively going to be the number one boss for her. She could be really, really good on Lucia. I don't know if one boss is going to be enough to pull her if she's not really adding anything new that we can't already do in PvP. And again, this is just initial impressions, so just take this all with a grain of salt. Everything could change in the next week or so before she comes out. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!